So it's time for movie reviews here on Pure 24/7 Radio. I'm glad to welcome back my good friend Andy Godfrey, our esteemed film critic and movie reviewer. Hello, Andy. How are you?
Hey Nathan, I was really sorry not to be with you guys last week. As you know, my mum's in hospital and I had to be with her. But we're back this week and we're back with a bang because we've got a brand new number one in the box office top 10, which we can talk about.
Yes, sounds
So,
fantastic. Well, obviously, family comes first, and I'm so sorry to hear all about that. We'll continue praying for you.
thank
But the
you,
box
appreciate
office
it.
top 10, we do this quite often sometimes to look at what's at the top, what's at coming near the top. Sometimes it's surprising to see certain films overtaking other films. But where do you want to start today?
Oh, well, I want to start with the countdown, if we may,
Yeah, sure.
because as I said, we've got a brand new number one. So if we do the countdown, that will lead us into a review of the brand new number one, if that's
Ah,
okay.
very clever.
We haven't reviewed it yet.
Okay.
So let's do that. So very quickly, at number 10, one of the best films of the year, The Ballad of Wallace Island. This is a film about, it's a low budget film about a millionaire. A guy wins the lottery. He buys a small island off the coast of Wales. He invites his favourite rock star to come and give a concert. When the rock star gets there, he says, "Hey, I'm really looking to this. How many people will be in the audience?" And the millionaire says, "One, me." And at first, the rock star is very antagonistic about this, doesn't like it, but a friendship begins to form. It's just a lovely, 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 delightful film, and I'm so thrilled that it's sitting there in the top 10. I mean, The Salt Path, which is the other one about the couple who lost everything and decided to walk from Somerset to Cornwall, that's dropped out of the top 10. But this has stayed in the top 10. Low budget stuff. Honestly, folk, please go and see it. It's really, really good. Lovely film. Number 9 is the only one in the top 10 I haven't seen. It's a film called Sanjura Junior 3. It's an Indian film. It's a Bollywood film. I haven't seen it, so we can talk about it. Now, number 8. And this is really an example of how the mighty fall very quickly. At number 8 is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. It has done nowhere near the box office that Paramount hoped it would. It really hasn't. It's been, relatively speaking, a failure. It never got to number one. It never, it's rapidly falling out of the top 10. And genuinely, this has been a real disappointment for Paramount at the box office. I mean, okay, yes, it's made, 25 million pounds, but it still hasn't really paid for itself yet, not in this country anyway. And they can't wait to release it around the world. There are some countries like Japan and Australia and somewhere it hasn't been released yet. And they're desperate to get it out because it's not paying for itself, you know. And yet, and I think there are two reasons for that. One is the first word of mouth has said, as we've told people, the first hour is boring. And that's put a lot of people off going. I think secondly, a lot of people are just tired of the franchise. They thought, well, how can they better? And yet, the second half of this film, the first half is boring. Second half is exciting. But honestly, number 8, it's a real disappointment.
It is quite a shock,
So
isn't it?
yeah, it is, and I would think that Tom Cruise and co will be thinking, oh, because at the end, and spoiler alert, but at the end, it's left open that there might be another one.
Okay.
You start to wonder if there will be.
Hmm.
You start to wonder if they will think, is it worth it? Maybe there'll be another old TV franchise they can revive. But I mean, it's, as I say, the second half of the film just throbs with excitement. I was gripping the edge of my seat, particularly the scene where he's in a sinking submarine all by himself, running out of oxygen in his underpants. How is Tom Cruise going to get out of this? It's a breathtaking scene. It really is exciting. But honestly, Nathan, it's really disappointing. Number 8. Number 7 is a film called, now, you've got to be careful how you pronounce this, okay? So it's Megan, but the E is a 3. So it's actually M3 GAN
Okay.
2.0.
Right.
So a couple of years ago, a film came out called M3 GAN, which was about a scientist who creates a robot pal for her daughter, because her daughter's lonely. She hasn't got any friends. But it turns out that this robot has got a flaw in its functioning and will do anything to protect this little girl, and ends up actually killing people who tease her or don't like her or whatever. And it was a bit of a bloodthirsty film, to be honest. So we've now got the sequel. This time around, the government want to get their hands on this doll because they think they can use it as an ultimate weapon against their enemies. It's not very good. It really isn't. It's very poor acting, very poor special effects. It's come in at number 7 in the chart. It hasn't even taken a million pound, 983,000, but it's done poorly. But it's not as good. It's not even as good as the first one, and the first one wasn't great. So that's at number 7. Oh, get this! And Tom Cruise, set up and take note. Lilo and Stitch, the live action remake, is at number 6.
Wow, still holding on there.
Yeah, and still holding on there. Absolutely incredible. It's taken 35 million at the UK box office alone.
Wow.
And again, it's still got to be released in some places, some countries. So, I've been very, very critical of Disney being lazy, just reissuing, just making live action remakes of their films,
Yeah.
And but they will turn around to me and say, "Hey, we're making a ton of money out of this." And it's not just the box office. There's been a resurgence in people buying toys, and so
Okay.
on. So the marketing spin-off from Lilo and Stitch has been hugely successful. And I was in London recently and I passed the Disney store in Oxford Street. And they've just got Lilo and Stitch toys all over the window, and people are going in and buying them because there's been this resurged interest. I still prefer the cartoon. I still think the live action version is too long, but it's done exceptionally well. Another Disney film, stroke Paramount, sorry, not Paramount, Pixar, is at number 5. Now, this is Elio. And if you remember, we did review this.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a story about a little boy who is lonely. Most Disney films, Lilo and Stitch, Lilo is a lonely girl. Most Disney films these days are, or have been over the years, there's been an element of children being lonely and finding friends in very strange places. So just like Lilo finds an alien called Stitch and befriends him, this little boy finds aliens who befriend him. And I thought this was wonderful. I thought it was bright, imaginative, clever. Little boy gets taken up to meet the aliens in some sort of space council. They've got a big baddie after them. There's lots of fights. There's lots of spaceships. There's lots of very imaginative aliens. There's one like an octopus, and he can read your mind. And this little boy declares himself in a moment of madness to be the leader of the planet Earth. So they sent him out as an envoy as an ambassador to deal with their enemy, who is this really ugly creature. He's got 2 eyes. He's got 6 eyes and 2 mouths full of really jagged teeth. But Pixar are brilliant. Pixar are creatively imaginative when it comes to this sort of thing. So we've got number 6, a little girl befriending an alien. At number 5, we've got a little boy befriending an alien. Disney must think they're onto something.
Evidently.
So that's okay. So at number 4, 28 years later. 28 years later is a sequel to 28 weeks later, which was a sequel to 28 days later. They've missed out 28 months later. This is a film that a lot of people were really looking forward to because the 28 days, weeks films were very good. And it is good. We are 28 years into the future after a major pandemic has devastated the British Isles. A few survivors are living on an island just off the coast of the north of England, and they are encamped in this island so that none of the ravaged, diseased people can get in, But a little boy, his mum is ill, and he hears stories of a doctor being on the mainland. He sets out to take his mum to the mainland. That's the basic story. It's not the best of the series. This is a science fiction monster zombie horror series. It's not the best, but it's really entertaining, and I quite enjoyed it when it was on. Number 3, How to Train Your Dragon, live action with an animated dragon. I mean, what is the point other than the box office? And it's taken 18 million pounds. So DreamWorks are now copying Disney. DreamWorks are saying, we'll take one of our best loved animated features, 2002, I think it was, How to Train Your Dragon came out. Wonderful animated film, really good, about a young boy in a Viking village befriending a dragon. Really lovely, really super. We've now done it as live action. It's over half an hour longer than the cartoon, unnecessarily so. Sat there thinking, if nobody has seen the cartoon, they'll love this. If you haven't seen the cartoon, you will probably have a really good time with How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version. But for those of us who love the cartoon, just a waste of time. Number two. Now, I think we reviewed this as well. Number two in the box office is F1. So this is Formula One. This is Brad Pitt racing cars. Now, I don't know anything about Grand Prix. I don't necessarily say, I get bored watching Grand Prix unless there's a spectacular crash. And there were a couple of spectacular crashes in this. The thing is, if you had given me a cigarette packet within and 10 minutes into the film and said, write out what you think is going to happen, I would have been able to write out the whole story for you. Okay. On the back of a cigarette packet.
Okay.
From the offset, that it's so formulaic, and I wish I'd put that in my review. Formula One is formulaic. I only thought of it afterwards. I'm quite proud of that. It's so predictable. Brad Pitt becomes a racing driver for a team that's not doing very well. Are they going to win the next Grand Prix? Are they going to start doing well? Of course they are. It's Brad Pitt, for Pete's sake, you know? And I just found it so predictable. Some of the action is really good. It's from the same director who gave us Top Gun Maverick. So in Top Gun Maverick, he put us inside the jet plane. And in this, he puts you inside the racing car. It's boring beyond belief. But a lot of people have liked it. A lot of people have gone to see it. Brad Pitt being the attraction. And there are some spectacular racing scenes. You know, there's one point where we get a split screen and we can see what's happening in two cars at the same time. But then they did that in a film called Grand Prix that was made in 1969. So nothing new, you know. Let's get on to the number one. This is what I really want to talk about. We have a new Jurassic movie, and it is gone straight in at number one in the box office. Now, I said to you off air that when I went into the cinema to see Jurassic World Rebirth, I had a few tears in my eyes before the film started.
Yeah.
Because Steve Legg, our great friend, the legendary Steve Legg, he loved the Jurassic movies. He really did. And as I walked into the cinema, I was thinking of Steve because I know he would have been first in the queue to see this. And it upset me a little bit. Thing is, by the end of the movie, I had tears in my eyes as well because I just wasted 2 hours, 10 minutes of my time.
Oh dear.
This is really, really, really poor. I mean, I remember going to see the first Jurassic Park movie in 1993, and I saw it at a cinema in Portsmouth on a big screen. Steven Spielberg was the director. Sam Neill was starring. Richard Attenborough was starring. When you watch that first film, you believed they actually were filming real dinosaurs. The effects were terrific. There's a moment where a character played by Sam Neill sees his first dinosaur, and we see the first dinosaur with him. He sort of swings his head round and we follow him around, and there's a dinosaur by the side of the car he's in. And I just went, wow. I mean, I was literally blown away, as was everybody, by the first film. You would think that between 1993 and 2025, the special effects would have gotten better and better and better.
You'd hope so. Yeah, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? I mean, actually, I've heard a lot of people say that there are certain films back in the noughties showing much better special effects than modern films. I'm not sure why that is, but yeah.
I think it's because filmmakers have got lazy.
Probably.
I think because a lot more is being done with computer-generated imagery that doesn't. This film, it looks shoddy. So here's the story. We meet at the beginning of the film. So as the Jurassic Park films have continued, dinosaurs have been introduced away from the island that they were on onto the mainland. Okay. Yeah. And dinosaurs are just accepted. Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic Park Dominion, the last two films, dinosaurs are part and parcel of society now. We just accept that there are dinosaurs. Okay. This film opens with a TV report that all the dinosaurs that were wandering in the cities and have been in the zoos and everything have been rounded up and taken to an island in the equator. Okay, so fine, fair enough. And the public are bored with dinosaurs. By the end of the film, I thought, I know how they feel, because I was bored with this. A group of scientists go off to this island in the equator where the dinosaurs are, and they have discovered, and we're never really told how they come to discover this, okay? They have discovered that if you mingle blood from a dinosaur that swims in the sea, a dinosaur that walks on land, and a dinosaur that flies, if you can get blood from each of those three types of dinosaurs, you've got a cure for heart disease. Okay? So that will be a miracle cure for heart disease.
Interesting.
One of these scientists is just in it for the money. All he wants to do, he's pretending he's not, turns out to be a bad guy, and you can spot him from the opening minutes because he's talking about the money we could make. We could be millionaires if we could get this, if we can get these free samples of blood, and if we can get it into the market, we could be millionaires. There's another scientist who's out there because she genuinely wants to help people with heart disease. Her own dad died of heart disease, so she's got a motivation for doing it. So we sail off with these guys to the equator, to this island where all the known dinosaurs are. Suddenly, there is a massive jump in the film. Suddenly, we find ourselves on a boat with a guy, his two young daughters, and one of the daughters' very obnoxious boyfriends. And you think, hang on, what's going to happen here? They get, now, for some reason, now I'm a father, I would never dream of taking my daughter on a boat, on a yacht, and sail it near an island where I know there are dinosaurs, especially ones that swim in the sea.
Yeah.
So guess what? They get attacked by a dinosaur that swims in the sea. Their boat is overturned. They manage to save the radio. They put out an SOS. Our scientists in their boat hear the SOS and go and rescue them. So now we've got two groups. We've got a group of scientists, one of whom is a bad guy. We've got this family. We're supposed to really care for this family. I cared tuppence of them because I thought the guy was so stupid in taking his daughter into dinosaur-infected waters in the first place. They get separated. When they get to the island, more sea dinosaurs attack. They get separated. Long story short, the family have to make their way to a village that's known to be on this island. The scientists make their way towards this village. They're coming at it from different angles. And along the way, the scientists so easily manage to collect blood from a creature that swims in the sea, a creature that walks on land, and one that flies. And you think, this is going to be hard. This is going to be difficult. You've got to go into a nest where one of these flying dinosaurs is, and maybe what they should decide is that they can get one of the eggs and they can draw blood from that. And you think this is an impossible task. This is crazy. They're going to get eaten. No, they don't. Of course they don't. They achieve their goal. Two guys get eaten, but those two guys are going to get eaten because they're not scientists. They're just people who've been on the boat steering the thing and are totally inconsequential to the plot. So those two guys are going to get eaten. I kept wishing the obnoxious boyfriend would be eaten because he's one of these really smart, cool teenagers who knows everything about dinosaurs and trust me and follow me. And there was a T-Rex chasing him at one point. I thought, catch him. No, they didn't. Everybody basically survives. And they get the blood. The only guy who doesn't survive, guess who? The bad guy who wants to make money. He gets eaten by a massive dinosaur. I mean, a huge dinosaur. So here's the thing. If you like dinosaur movies, you're going to go and see this. You will probably be pleased with the variety of dinosaurs on display. Again, the plot is wafer thin. If you can't figure out in the first 10 minutes who's going to live and who's not, who's going to get eaten and who isn't, you shouldn't be in the cinema. The plot is wafer thin. And the special effects. The special effects sometimes it looks like there is a piece of glass between the actor and the dinosaur chasing them. It's kind of fuzzy. And this dinosaur's supposed to be right up behind you. But you can tell that it looks like there's a piece of... The CGI is terrible. Really, really terrible. I was never convinced by the CGI, which I was way, way back in 1993, with the first movie, and indeed the second movie and the third movie. But these movies have declined as time has gone on, and the film is called Jurassic Park Rebirth. And I went in with high hopes because I thought, oh, maybe we're just going to go back to something like what the original was, where, we've got a group of people on an island in danger. We have got a group of people on an island but it's so predictable. And the special effects are so poor. The score, John Williams wrote a great score for the first Jurassic Park movie. It's a classic piece of film music. Now, they use it, but they use it sparingly. And the new score is just, sometimes music in a film can give away what's going to happen. The music builds and builds and builds and builds, and
Yeah, that's
that
true.
something's going to happen, right? Every single time in this, there's no subtlety with the score. It's da 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 da. Something's going to get eaten, and they do. And I was very, very disappointed. And I think our friend Steve, I'm pretty sure he would have come out disappointed as well, because the trailer made this appear as if they were going to sort of relaunch the whole franchise from scratch. And no, the very first scene, because they need to make money, these film companies, out of these films. They look for ways. So they do what we call product placement. So James Bond will drive a certain type of car, and then that car will advertise James Bond drives our car,
Yeah.
The very first scene is in a laboratory on this island in the equator, and a guy's eating a Snickers bar. And he doesn't realize he's dropped it, but he drops the wrapper. And we keep seeing this wrapper floating around this laboratory. And eventually, when he goes into the room where the dinosaur is, the wrapper floats in and stops the door from closing, jams up the mechanism. But we keep seeing the word Snicker, 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 Snicker. Great big letters on the big screen. I wonder who sponsored this scene. It's just terrible. It really is. The product placement is unbelievable. I know two people who liked Jurassic Park Rebirth. One of my friends, who's a film reviewer online, told me I'm nuts. He said, Andy, this is the best movie of the year. But I have read dozens of reviews, honestly. I heard my friend Mark Kermode's review. I've read dozens of reviews. I have only seen two people who liked it. Everybody else is saying it's terrible. But it's gone in at number one. I imagine there will be parents listening to this, perhaps, whose kids will say, we've got to go and see the new Jurassic movie. And we'll probably have, a bit of fun watching the dinosaurs gobbling people up. But for those of us who loved the first three films in particular, and I did love the first one, and I go back to it every time it's on TV, I have to watch it. For those of us who love the first three, this is a real disappointment. So that's my review of Jurassic World Rebirth.
Well, okay. So it would seem that one did not necessarily come into your top 10 of the year so far.
No, it's going to be in my bottom 10. I mean, we always do the top 10 best and worst of. At the moment, this is sitting in my top 10 worst of the year so far.
Oh, wow. Well, it's interesting to note that
It's disappointing because, as I say, I go all the way back to 1993 and I remember the first Jurassic. Now, obviously, we've got used to seeing dinosaurs on screen but nothing will ever remove that magic moment from me. And I remember it so clearly, 1993, sitting in the cinema, seeing the first dinosaur and thinking, wow, that looks real. How did you do that?
Yeah, it wasn't cool, wasn't it?
It was so cool. Sitting in this, I'm sat there thinking, not how did you do it, why did you do it? And they would take money. It's already taken £12 million at the UK box office. So
yeah.
Shall we mention a couple of films on TV this weekend if people want to go?
Yeah, sure. Just an interesting note to note on some of these films. There's quite a few where it seems as though the filmmakers are perhaps relying on a name or a franchise to sell something. For example, with Jurassic Park, they know that people love Jurassic Park, and people who love Jurassic Park will go and see it regardless of whether of the reviews, because it's Jurassic Park, which perhaps allows, as you say, a certain degree of laziness. They don't have to work quite as hard at it.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think one of my complaints that we've talked about is the lack of originality coming out of Hollywood. I mean, you look at that top 10. Lilo and Stitch is a remake. How to Train Your Dragon is a remake. Mission Impossible is part of an ongoing series. And there is a definite lack of originality. And as you say, people will go and see Formula One, F1, because Brad Pitt's in it,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and I think you're absolutely right. There is a lack of originality, and they do depend. I mean, today we haven't mentioned it yet, but today there's a new Superman movie in cinemas.
Wow, another one.
Now, another one. Now I haven't seen it yet. I mean, my Superman will always be Christopher Reeves,
Yeah.
who was in the 1978 movie Superman the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I thought Superman 2 for a very long time. Superman 2 was in my all-time top 10. I love Superman 2. And there's a new Superman movie out today, and my heart just sank because over the years we've had so many Superman movies, we've had so many incarnations of Superman. I don't need another origin. I don't need to be reminded of that he came from Krypton in a spaceship because the planet Krypton was going to be blown up and that he landed on Earth, and because of Earth's gravity and everything else, he's got Superman. I don't need to be reminded of that. I don't need to be. Maybe the new generation do, Nathan. Maybe your generation does need to hear the backstory. But for those of us of a certain age, we know the backstory. And this film goes into the backstory again, and we find out again that Lex Luthor ends up, who is the greatest criminal genius on earth. Lex Luthor was played by Gene Hackman in the Christopher Reeves movies, absolutely brilliantly. I don't need this. Maybe your generation does. I don't know. I'm sure it'll do well. Maybe this time next week, we will be talking about Superman being the new number one.
Possibly.
Because I think word of mouth will go around about Jurassic Park, as you say. I think in the end, only really committed Jurassic Park fans will probably go and see it, unless there's kids wanting to see the dinosaurs. So I think that this time next week, the new Superman movie, but my heart sank. Oh, here we go again, Superman, So we'll see. But that's
Yeah.
coming out today, folks, the new Superman movie.
Okay, interesting. Well, I mean, obviously, say there's been so many incarnations. I mean,
Oh,
me personally, actually, my favorite incarnation would be Henry Cavill playing
Henry
him.
Cavill, yeah.
That might be
Again,
my favorite.
that's your sort of generation when
Yeah,
they rebooted Superman, 2013 that was.
yeah.
And then they made a sequel to that called Batman versus Superman, um, which has got a hilarious scene in it. Um, Batman and Superman, it turns out, hate each other,
Uh,
and they're having a fight, and they stop fighting when they realise, and it's just ridiculous, and it's taken so seriously in the film that Batman's mother was called Martha, and Superman's human mother was called Martha. Your mum was called Martha, my mum was called Martha. And they've been at such enmity and fighting. And as soon as they discover that, they stop fighting and become friends. And you go, no, crazy.
yeah, it is crazy,
But
but
Henry Cavill was great. I mean, Henry
yeah,
Cavill was really good. He'd been in a spy thriller the year before called The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which again was based on an old TV series. And Henry Cavill was great as Superman. Yeah, I still, for me, but this is my generation. It will always be Christopher Reeve, who I thought was sensational. But yeah, you know,
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I guess they are recreating it again. Perhaps I saw something in the description that it's going to involve something to do with social media, which makes sense, might appeal to a much younger audience, which is
yeah,
perhaps why they're rebooting it in this way, as you say,
it may
to
well be. I
appeal
think
to a different generation.
the idea is the story, and I don't want to say much about the story because of spoilers, but the story is framed around Superman giving an interview to Lois Lane.
Okay.
That seems to be the frame of the story, and whether I haven't seen it yet, so whether he goes back and tells her a story about what happened to him and how he saved the Earth from this particular marauding alien. I think that's probably the way the film is structured, and it will do well. It will do well, and maybe Doctor Who regenerates every 4 or 5 years. Why shouldn't Superman?
Yeah,
And
maybe.
we're James Bond as well soon, so
Yeah. Okay. So, should we move on to these films to watch at home, shall we?
Yeah, very quickly. So, a couple to watch at home. First of all, anybody who's got Sky or Now TV, as from today, Wicked is available to stream. Wicked was my favourite film of last year. I love Wicked. I'm not going to go on about it. Just to say, if you love The Wizard of Oz, if you love musicals, you'll love Wicked. On Channel 4 on Saturday night, we've got a Tom Hanks film called A Man Called Otto. Now it's 9 o'clock on Channel 4 on Saturday night. Don't let that sort of make you think, oh, this is a 15 X-rated whatever certificate. It's not. Otto lives in a neighborhood in Philadelphia. He's a very, very grumpy old man. Okay. And he's continually terrorizing his neighbors. And there's a scene very early on in the film where somebody parks their car and he goes out and says, "You haven't parked your car straight. In this street, we park our cars straight and we park them, level with the curb. You parked your car wrongly. He'll go out and tell another neighbor, your bin's in the wrong place. They put the bins out. Your bin's in the wrong place. He is a stickler for tidiness, for punctuality, for the neighborhood being exactly as he wants it to be. And much to his disgrace, a young family move in with young children to a house next door. Not young children, they're going to mess up the neighborhood. They'll be playing in the street. They'll be doing this, that, and the other. And he goes off and tells them off for playing ball games and all the rest of it. He's a really, really, really grumpy old man. And Tom Hanks plays it brilliantly. But by the end of the film, he kind of mellows and begins to be accepted by this family who make it their mission, actually. The mother makes it her mission for him. So one time she comes around, she goes, "I'm going out tonight. Can you babysit for me?" No, you've got to babysit for me, otherwise I can't go out. I promise you the children, but of course the children aren't well behaved in that scene. Honestly, a really, really good film. Also available now on starring Tom Hanks. So we've got a Tom Hanks double bill, and I really want to commend this one to people. This is on Film 4 this weekend. Okay, so look out for it. A film called A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Now, in this country, we had, and you don't remember this again. Oh, crap, I feel so old. We had a program called Play School, which was basically for very, very young preschool children. It was a very popular program, and toys would talk to you, and there'd be a model doll's house and all sorts of things. They would make the toys talk and teach you life lessons. Okay. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood was the American equivalent. And for many, many years, the host of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood was very, very popular. Everybody in America knew him. He was the friendly uncle that you turned your TV on for. Again, he's played by Tom Hanks in this real life character. A journalist goes to interview him, and he talks in the film about his Christian faith to this journalist. Now, the journalist is going through marital problems and is having a hard time at home. And Tom Hanks ends up helping the journalist. The journalist thinks he's going to go and interview Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks actually ends up interviewing him and helping him. This is a wonderful film. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's on Film 4 as from this weekend. I loved it. I loved A Man Called Otto. I loved Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. They both star Tom Hanks. So, go see it. I'll just mention one more film, if I may, Nathan, that's on streaming from this weekend, because it's a film that I absolutely loved. I'm a stickler for courtroom dramas. I love courtroom dramas. Is the guy going to be guilty or not? One of my favorite films of all time is a film called 12 Angry Men, where we just see the jury debating as to whether somebody's guilty of murder or not. Now, a film that's coming streaming this weekend is called Juror Number 2. And it's a case of somebody has been in an accident by the side of the road and they've been killed. And the person driving the car is up in court with a charge of reckless driving and causing death by reckless driving. They select a jury. Juror number 2, it turns out, as we later discover from flashbacks, was on that very road that very night. And the implication is it may have been him who ran the unfortunate person over.
Wow.
Was it the guy who's in the dock, or was it the juror who's judging him? Because he was on the road that night. And the film keeps us in suspense right to the very end. I don't want to tell you the ending. Maybe you can guess it. But it is a fantastic, suspenseful film that had me absolutely gripped. I mean, totally gripped. It was an amazing story. I've never seen a story where possibly a member of the jury is the guilty person who should be in the dock instead of the person who is. Yeah, and to some extent, the film leaves you to make up your own mind about where this is going. But it is really, really gripping. It's called Juror Number 2. If you've got Sky or Now TV or Virgin TV, you'll be able to see it as from this weekend at home. I really loved it.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you so much, Andy. We better wrap it up there, but thank you so much for bringing us the latest in the world of cinema. Look forward to hearing your thoughts on the new Superman.
Yeah,
And
I shall see it this weekend.
brilliant. Well, I look forward to it. I don't know whether it'll be any good, but it might be brilliant. You never know.
It might be absolutely brilliant, and I'm hoping. Nathan, I go into every single film that I see hoping it will be absolutely brilliant. You know, I
Yeah.
really do, because I don't want to waste 2 hours of my life watching trash, watching Jurassic Park Rebirth. You know, I don't want to waste 2 hours of my life. So I go into every single film with this really positive, upbeat attitude. And anybody who's read my book, and I'm shameless plug again, but anybody who's read my book will know that to this day, and I'm 63 and I've been going to the cinema since I was 7 years old. To this day, the moment the lights go down and the certificate for the film comes up on the screen, my heart's pumping because I just love it so much. So I go into every single film thinking, yeah, great, let's do this. This will be great. And I come out disappointed sometimes, and sometimes I come out going, meh, and sometimes I come out going, wow. And that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
So let's hope the new Superman movie is good.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thanks, Andy. It's been a pleasure as always. Have a great weekend.
And you, Nathan, and God bless everyone listening.